Hey there, ever wondered if you might be that rare breed of personality known as a Sigma INFJ? Well, buckle up, cause we're about to dive deep into the fascinating world of personality types and uncover the telltale signs that you might just be one of these enigmatic individuals. Stick around, and you might discover something about yourself you never knew before. So, what's the deal with Sigma INFJ anyway? Picture this: you're at a party, and while everyone else is mingling and chatting up a storm, there's that one person quietly observing from the corner, taking it all in. They're not shy, not exactly, but they're definitely marching to the beat of their own drum. That, my friends, could be a Sigma INFJ in their natural habitat. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's break down what we're talking about here. INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. It's one of the 16 personality types identified by the Myers-Briggs type indicator. And Sigma? Well, that's a whole other ball game. It's a term that's been floating around the internet, describing someone who's kind of like a lone wolf, independent, self-reliant, and not too fussed about following social hierarchies. Put these two together, and you've got a pretty unique combo. Sigma INFJ are like the secret agents of the personality world. They're rare, they're complex, and they're often misunderstood. But don't worry, we're about to shed some light on this elusive personality type. First things first, let's talk about that introversion. If you're a Sigma INFJ, you probably feel like you need a good chunk of alone time to recharge your batteries. It's not that you don't like people, far from it. You actually care deeply about others. But socializing can feel like running a marathon sometimes, and you need that downtime to process all the information and emotions you've absorbed. But here's the kicker: unlike your typical introvert, you're not necessarily shy or socially awkward. Nope, as a Sigma INFJ, you've got this quiet confidence about you. You can hold your own in social situations when you need to, but you're not doing it for the attention or to climb some social ladder. You're there because you've got a purpose, whether it's to support a friend or to gather information for your latest project. Speaking of projects, let's talk about that intuitive side of yours. If you're a Sigma INFJ, chances are you've got a rich inner world that's constantly buzzing with ideas. You're not just thinking about what's for dinner tonight, you're pondering the meaning of life, dreaming up solutions to world problems, or imagining entire fictional universes. Your mind is like a never-ending brainstorming session, and sometimes it can be hard to switch off. This intuition isn't just about daydreaming, though. It's like you've got this sixth sense about people and situations. You can walk into a room and immediately pick up on the vibe, sensing tensions or emotions that others might miss. It's like you're tuned into this frequency that most people can't hear, and it gives you some pretty keen insights into human nature. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter literally. The F in INFJ stands for feeling, and boy, do Sigma INFJ feel things deeply. You're like an emotional sponge, soaking up the feelings of those around you. This empathy is one of your superpowers, but it can also be overwhelming at times. You might find yourself tearing up at a sad movie, or feeling genuinely distressed by the suffering of others, even if you've never met them. But here's where the Sigma part comes in. You're not wearing your heart on your sleeve for everyone to see. Nope, you've got this protective shell around your soft, gooey center. You're selective about who you let in, and you're not one to spill your emotional guts to just anyone. This can make you seem a bit mysterious or hard to read, which only adds to that Sigma allure. The J in INFJ stands for judging. But don't let that fool you. You're not some stern, rule-loving killjoy. It's more about how you prefer to structure your world. You like having a plan, and you're pretty good at following through on your commitments. But unlike some other judging types, you're not rigid about it. Your intuition and empathy give you a flexibility that allows you to adapt when needed. Now, let's talk about that Sigma trait. If you're a Sigma INFJ, you're probably not too concerned with social hierarchies or traditional measures of success. You're not trying to be the alpha dog or the life of the party. Instead, you're focused on your own personal growth and on making a meaningful impact in your own unique way. This independence can sometimes make you feel like a bit of an outsider. You might have trouble fitting in with cliques or feeling truly understood by others. But here's the thing: you're okay with that. In fact, you kind of prefer it. You'd rather have a small circle of deep, authentic relationships than a huge network of superficial connections. One of the hallmarks of a Sigma INFJ is their intense focus on their goals and values. You're not easily swayed by peer pressure or societal expectations. If something doesn't align with your core beliefs, you're not afraid to go against the grain. This can make you a bit of a rebel, but in a quiet, understated way. You're not out there starting revolutions, at least not openly, but you're definitely challenging the status quo in your own way. This focus on authenticity and meaning can sometimes lead to a bit of perfectionism. If you're a Sigma INFJ, you might find yourself holding back on projects or ideas until you feel they're absolutely perfect. You've got high standards for yourself, and you're not satisfied with just good enough. This can be both a blessing and a curse. It drives you to produce high-quality work, but it can also lead to procrastination or self-doubt. Another interesting quirk of Sigma INFJ is their relationship with creativity. You've got this wellspring of ideas and inspiration inside you, but you're not always comfortable putting it out there for the world to see. You might express your creativity in more subtle ways through your personal style, the way you decorate your space, or in private journals or sketchbooks that rarely see the light of day. When it comes to relationships, Sigma INFJ can be a bit of a paradox. On one hand, you crave deep, meaningful connections. You want to really know someone, to understand their hopes, fears, and dreams. But on the other hand, you value your independence and can be quite private. This can make dating a bit tricky. You're looking for that rare person who can respect your need for space while still forming a strong emotional bond. In friendships, you're the person people come to when they need a sympathetic ear or sage advice. Your intuition and empathy make you an excellent listener and problem solver, but you're also selective about who you let into your inner circle. You'd rather have a few close friends than a large group of acquaintances. At work, Sigma INFJ often gravitate towards roles where they can make a positive impact on people's lives. You might be drawn to fields like counseling, teaching, or non-profit work. But you're not limited to these traditional helping professions. Your creativity and intuition can make you successful in all sorts of fields, from writing to design to entrepreneurship. One thing that sets Sigma INFJ apart in the workplace is their leadership style. You're not the type to seek out leadership positions for the sake of power or status. But when you do find yourself in a leadership role, you lead with empathy and vision. You're good at inspiring others and helping them see the big picture. Your team members might describe you as a quiet but influential force, someone who leads by example rather than by barking orders. Now, it's not all sunshine and roses being a Sigma INFJ. Like any personality type, you've got your challenges. One of the biggest is the tendency to be overly critical of yourself. Your high standards and desire for perfection can sometimes lead to harsh self-judgment. You might find yourself replaying conversations in your head, cringing at something you said or didn't say. Another challenge is the risk of burnout. Your empathy and desire to help others can sometimes lead you to take on too much. You might find yourself emotionally exhausted from absorbing everyone else's feelings and problems. Learning to set boundaries and prioritize self-care is crucial for Sigma INFJ. You might also struggle with feeling misunderstood or out of place. Your unique combination of traits can make it hard for others to pin you down or put you in a box. This can be isolating at times, but it's also part of what makes you special. So, how do you know if you're really a Sigma INFJ? Well, if you've been nodding along to a lot of what we've talked about, there's a good chance you might be. But remember, personality types are just frameworks. They're not rigid boxes that define everything about you. You might resonate with some aspects of the Sigma INFJ description and not others, and that's totally okay. The key is to use this information as a tool for self-understanding and growth, not as a label that limits you. Whether you're a Sigma INFJ or not, the most important thing is to stay true to yourself and to keep growing and evolving as a person. In conclusion, Sigma INFJ are a fascinating blend of empathy and independence, intuition and logic, creativity and practicality. They're the quiet revolutionaries, the behind-the-scenes changemakers, the empathetic rebels. If you think you might be one, embrace your uniqueness. Your combination of traits gives you the potential to make a real difference in the world, in your own quiet but powerful way. Remember, at the end of the day, you're not just a personality type, you're a complex, multifaceted individual with your own unique experiences, thoughts, and feelings. So whether you're a Sigma INFJ or not, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep being authentically you. Because that's what really matters.